What is up, Overwatch community? My name is Trips, and welcome back to another episode of WatchPoint. Today we're talking about the Summer Games and the World Cup, which is going to be at BlizzCon. But before we get into the news, I want to welcome back once again Yiska
Hey.
and Volcha.
Hello.
Do you guys notice that you both have like a on the end of your name? And I don't, so I'm the odd man out.
Gotta get done.
Yeah, Tripsa.
Tripsa.
I don't think it has the same ring to it, though. Okay. So kind of a surprise. They didn't really mention too much about it beforehand, and then they just dropped the Summer Games on us this week. How do you guys feel about it? What have you experienced? Have you got anything sweet out of the loot boxes?
I'm completely ambivalent about it because, I don't know. I usually don't care about that sort of stuff, so I'm not the target audience.
Mm-hmm.
People I play with are pretty excited about it. They like the skins, not the skins, the sprays, the custom sprays. I guess there's a BMX bike Reaper that's amazing to some people. But,
I did not see that. That sounds sweet.
yeah, he looks super edgy on his BMX bike and bombs on his chest. It's
Listening to
funny.
Linkin Park and yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I'm pretty sure we've brought this up before back when I was talking about the beach ball payload and stuff like that. The theme that Blizzard always does around their games where they do holidays. So more than likely we're going to see a Halloween event. We're going to see a Christmas event, most like the bigger holidays in America. And is Halloween worldwide? This is so ignorant
Kind of
of a
is
question.
now. Yeah, well, it's not culturally, but it's, for instance, coming to Germany more and more because people just want a silly excuse to dress up. So
Knee candy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, but yeah, they actually in the developer update, the video, Jeff said that he always loved the World of Warcraft events, that he could log in and, open up gifts or log in and, with the pumpkins all around Orgrimmar, which is the example that he used. So for people who, like Vulture, he wants to log into the game and play and get better and, just actually play the game. Whereas sometimes I log in and I'm like, I just want to run around in circles and look cool on my, Reaper that has a pumpkin head or something. I think it's cool. It's fun. It adds flavor for people who like to play dress up a little bit with their characters. Like the McCree skin is completely sweet to me. And he said that it's going to add exclusivity to the game, where a lot of games, I will use League of Legends as an example, they have skins that come out, and those are for, the players who started the game, and then we went through the summer games or something. I wish they would have gave us actually something for beta, unless they did, and I'm oblivious to it. Some exclusive skin or spray. But it adds like in a year or two and somebody's like, oh, that's from Summer Games 2016. That's sweet. I didn't know you played back then. I just started. But then League of Legends, what they did, Riot, was they offered those skins up as you can purchase them. So they screwed up on that front. But I like that that upper echelon, or like the feats of strength from WoW, where you see people that have stuff and you go, oh, hey, sweet. That guy was a vet player. He's been playing for a long time.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff that they added also was basically the Lucio Rocket League or Lucio Soccer football. Did you guys get a chance to play that at all?
I played one round and just found I wanted to play the game instead of the fun
Yeah.
mode.
Yeah, I mean, I like it. It's cool because when I played CS Source for a long, long time, I was always the person when at the end of the night when I was just blowing off steam, I would play, like death runs, and I would play mini game modes or surf maps and stuff like that. I want this to be the start of the custom games, like custom games of StarCraft or custom games of Dota and stuff like that, where instead of their brawl ideas in the past have been, oh, we're just going to do all Annas or all soldiers, and it was just like, okay, that's kind of stupid. Like, add flavor to it, make it an actual custom game mode rather than just turning off character selections. This is the right direction I want them to go in. So that's, for me, once again, that's something I like. But the actual game I really didn't care for that much. It was kind of like, oh, that was cool, but eh.
Kind of plays like Rocket League, right? It's like
it does.
a shitty Rocket League, though.
Yeah.
Did you know you could shoot other players? You could switch heroes and shoot the Lucios without them being able to really do anything.
Oh, that sounds much better already. We're gonna play that.
How can you switch heroes? I
have no idea how it worked, but friends actually did it somehow, and they put Symmetra turrets on the spawns of the Lucios.
My god!
Between the goals, there's this downtime where it's like 3, 2, 1, and then it go, and they die in that time. So it's like, yep.
Can you Can you Junkrat bomb the ball and just make people not want to go near it? That'd be pretty fun.
I guess you can. Yeah, probably.
Maybe I'll play that tonight. Play some Junkrat troll game.
I hope nobody gets banned over this, because it's obviously some sort of exploit. I have no idea how it works actually.
I mean, it's not affecting it's not affecting the main game. It's just a fun mode. But they added. Let's see what they added. I don't think they added anything past skins. And did they say when this will end? Yeah, it'll end August 22nd. So from now until August 22nd, any loot boxes you get will be the Summer Games boxes. And basically, we're just kind of looking forward to the future stuff. I think it'd be cool. Holiday skins and stuff like that. But so let me ask you, Vulture. I wouldn't say you hate it, but you don't particularly like it, right? It's not in your radar.
Did we lose Yiska? I think we did.
We did.
Okay, so that's kind of neat.
There we go. Here we go. You're
nice.
back.
Sorry, something happened with my internet connection. I don't know why.
Whatever.
I'm gonna reset everything.
Yep. Okay. Well, while we are figuring out our technical difficulties, I will pose this still super obvious lead into our next topic. Yiska, you don't love the Summer Games, do you?
No, not really. I think it's a fun thing.
Okay.
It's kind of odd that it's every year, that you get it every year, but other than that, I don't know.
But you wouldn't say you're gonna go make a complaint on Reddit about it, would you?
No.
Okay. Because this is what I said, but while you were dropping was, I cannot believe that Jeff had to make a post about this, that he had to make a response to people complaining about, in his words, an event that has a ton of absolutely free content available to all players for free. The idea is play the game and get free cool rare stuff for the next 3 weeks. Yes, you can buy loot boxes, but you earn them for free. Just by playing, there's a ton of content that had literally no one knew existed until it went live. This is the type of stuff that is, I mean, we talked about the payment model of this game and how you buy a $40 minimum game and then you play and everything is absolutely free. If you want to spend your extra hard-earned money on the game, you can. If you do, it will not give you any benefit other than being fancy and looking cool. As long as they don't introduce anything into the game that adds a power curve, you can literally not complain about it. You can offer your opinion and be like, I don't like it. That's fine. But you don't have to put out your opinion and be like, this is stupid. I can't believe they did this. The developers need to, why are they doing the Summer Games? We still haven't gotten our coin flip fixed in ranked, or why are they doing the Summer Games when the heroes aren't balanced and all this other stuff? It feels like we're going to send the developers the wrong message as a community if people who are over the top are going to be sending this message to the developers like, hey, instead of thanks for this free content, I don't like it. It's not for me. Like Volcha said, it's not that he hates it. It's just not, something he's super excited about. But he's not going to go out of his way to complain because he's still playing the game that he loves. And people need to, once again, check their ego at the door, I guess is the way to put it. Because if you don't like it, that's cool, man. Put it back, put it back in the back of your mind and just play the rest of the game.
For me, it's basically they're trying out a business model for this game that they already released, and they're going to plan to support, and that's the big point there. They're gonna have to keep their company happy. They're gonna have a way to have money coming in, and this is one way they can do it. And it's relatively unintrusive. I mean, people who are like really hot on wanting the exclusive content will buy the crates as they come up and try to get the stuff from the crates. People who don't have the money or don't care will probably just try to grind for it or won't matter. But to me, it's probably the best way they can make money off this game long term. Is through this, and it kind of boggles my mind that people are really so angry about it, and so many people are so angry about it. This is going to be like a really unpopular podcast because
I don't give a fuck, man. This is some entitled bullshit. I'm looking through the posts right now, and this is one of the posts posted by Jammed. This adds no value. Okay, actually, this is a quote. I don't want to give the wrong guy flames. This is posted by Van Wer Blight. Here we go. Sorry. This adds no value to the average customer and just serves to fill your pocket and screw me over. If you wanted to make exclusive time period sensitive content that couldn't be purchased with credits, it'd have been nice of you to forewarn us that this is the kind of thing you were going to deal with the game before the game was released. I would have most certainly not bought this game if I knew that's what I was going to get into. Can I get a refund?
Okay.
What?
Okay. Let me go into the historical argument of this stupidity, right? It starts off with, I still remember we were in school and everyone was like, nobody's going to pay for World of Warcraft. Then everyone started paying for World of Warcraft, including us. And then it was like, nobody's going to pay for this retarded house. $25? Are you insane? Mm-hmm. Whole Ironforge is filled with retarded horses. Everyone bought it. Now it's, please Blizzard, give me the chance to buy the retarded horse for $40. Pretty please, Blizzard. Don't give me free shit. Please, I beg you, let me spend money on a fucking skin. It's unreal, dude. I don't know.
I don't get it. This guy posted, you buy the game, you play the game. The game has nothing to do with these extra things. And they come over and Blizzard goes, oh, here, guys, here's some sprinkles. You can earn these for free. Otherwise, you can buy a whole bottle of sprinkles with the chance, if you have some extra money. Otherwise, you can just slowly earn them over time. I
don't understand. I'm really struggling to understand how he can see himself as being screwed over. Like, what happened? What is he missing out on from the original purchase and those terms that's screwing him over? I don't get it. I really don't get it.
He's mad.
I can only guess that he's mad that he's not getting the free stuff for free, and he's butthurt. That's the only thing I can guess. There is like an argument that you could say, this kind of stuff is unhealthy for a game. Like, it's kind of pressuring you to buy stuff, and that sort of pressure or like ribbing is kind of unhealthy for a game. But I mean, this is so out of the way that it doesn't matter.
What's that word? Self-control. That's the word. Like, if they release something and you go, oh, I really want that, and then you buy it and you go, God damn it, Blizzard, I can't believe you sucked my credit card out of my wallet and made me purchase it because I wanted it.
I don't understand, too, why people don't like this idea of exclusive content. Like, not exclusive content, but content that's not available to everyone based on time. So like they can't see that in a year these things are going to be pretty cool because not everyone's going to have them, and maybe you do have that Zarya ponytail skin that's like you break out sometime and people get psyched to see it. You know, that's a
or
payoff.
like soccer or football Lucio.
Yeah,
like that's super cool, man.
Yeah,
it makes sense for the character, and
these people are doing the equivalent as calling their lawyers to sue McDonald's because they took the McRib off the menu and they want it now. It's fucking ridiculous.
Oh god,
it's kind of it's concerning how loud this outcry is and how like self-feeding it is. I mean, if I was Blizzard, I'd be like, what planet did I land on? What happened? Like,
I don't know.
Who are these people we're selling products to?
It's like, and just sit down and just go through the things that happened the last month. Like, Blizzard can literally do nothing without pissing people off in a major way without causing a huge shitstorm. Like, I don't know. It's not even like the vocal minority. It's like this shit is the same size of, I don't know, Torbjorn being overpowered, supposedly, or Bastion or whatever. You know, the imbalance things. It's just completely same size because people don't get their, I don't know, American McCree.
Hold on. Let me read you guys another quality post here. Giving us Anna and Lucio Ball isn't really you being generous. You announced before the game came out that all future content, like characters and game modes and maps, will be free. You're not being gracious by doing this. You're fulfilling a promise and doing what was expected. Before I continue, there is more. As far as I know, they've always said that skins and cosmetics would be paid for. Correct? Before the game launched, they said that characters, maps would be free and game modes would be free. I don't remember them saying anything about cosmetics being free. You could purchase them with in-game currency, but
I mean, it was already the case with the Origins edition that you kind of purchase skins for real money, right?
Yeah.
You got the legacy skins for, you know, so that argument already is out of the window immediately.
Okay.
How did people how did people not see this coming? Like the writing was on the wall, like with the pre-order and the loot crate system. Like, Jesus Christ, how did people not see this? Like,
they're a business. They created a good game, but at the end of the day, their job is to make their parent company, Activision, money. If they do not make them money, then they will shut down the game. That is a business. Whether, you know, you I don't want to get too edgy with these people, but whether or not you understand that is how it works. That is just how it works. It's money.
You want new characters, you want new game modes, you want new maps. This is how it happens.
Yeah, this is how we're getting stuff for free, is because people are buying.
Yeah.
Anyways, where was I? What was expected? We all expected new free characters and maps over time when we bought the game. And yes, I honestly think we should all be entitled to the new skins if we want them, because we also promised the new skins at the end of the summer. We were never told the new skins would be exclusive to those who were lucky and those who could afford to gamble. What the hell, man?
I can see the argument.
I can see the mentality, but
like, if I was really okay, I'm going to attempt to put myself in the mindset of someone who really gives a shit about dress-up dolls in a video game about shooting people. But, like, if I really cared about that and I paid $40 and then all of a sudden some skins come out and I don't have a guaranteed chance to get them and I'd have to pay more money for this thing I want, and it's a gamble, that's a little bit of a rough pill to swallow. I mean, if I got these friends and I want to be like, I want to be the Zarya with the ponytail, I gotta invest some money to guarantee that to happen or gamble for it to happen, and that is a bit of a bitter pill for, I guess, a person who cares that much about it.
I'm sorry, but like, I'm not sorry. When you come to play Overwatch, your minimum purchase is $40. You literally have to spend nothing else to continue playing the game. If you want to, if everyone else that you play with gets a summer game skin, and you go, you know what, Blizzard, that's unfair. I want a summer game skin. All right, well then, buddy, put up your extra money and buy some goddamn chests and stop being a baby. You get to play the game for $40. That's it. That is added stuff. They do not owe you any of that.
The worst part is that they started complaining as soon as the system was live. They didn't ask if the drop rates would at all changed, what the system behind it was, if it's quite likely that if you play a lot for 3 weeks that you have a substantial amount of the skins, even maybe the one you like. Nobody actually looked at the numbers. They just immediately started crying and throwing temper tantrums. And that's already the best argument you can have against these people, because they're not actually interested in looking at the actual facts of the system, or what Blizzard has said before, or actually how relevant their shit is. But they would just want to rant, right? And it's...
Do you think it would make it better if the summer skins were available to be crafted?
Yes,
like during this time period, if you had extra currency, you could buy the ones that you wanted. Do you think that would alleviate that?
I guess, but it would definitely remove some of the money that they would want to make, because it's not hard to like bank up money or coins in the game as it is. Especially if you play a while, you're just going to get duplicates all the time. So, I mean, that's removing a lot of revenue that they would be getting from it in kind of a way that would probably incentivize someone that isn't going to buy him anyways, and isn't going to spend any more money anyways, if that's how they're interested in getting it.
I don't know, man. All right, I'm done spending time on this. Anyone who thinks that they complain or that they're entitled to these skins, I'm sorry, but you are wrong.
I just want to add one thing that for a game to be like supported long term, you need this revenue stream, and you could do it either through like, so that revenue comes from people wanting things, and you can either do them wanting like bullshit stuff or wanting better performance, and you don't want people buying like boost packs to make you do more damage and stuff like that. That's not... You don't want
people you having to purchase new characters, because let me tell you from playing League of Legends that when they release a character that is just outright just better than everyone and just shits all over you while you're playing, and you go, well, I guess I got to put out that $10 to buy that character. Guess what? After 4 or 5 characters, you just bought yourself another copy of the game.
Or you could do expansion packs with maps and stuff like that. Like every 6 months, have to rebuy the game and fragment the community. That's bad too for the game. We really got to realize that there's some concessions to be made. So on the scale of like, oh, this is so bad for the game, but it's what the developers made, like, better performance, unlocking characters, map packs, to like, cosmetics, buying cosmetics. I mean, even in the realm of like the cosmetic land, they're pretty far over here. I mean, they're being pretty nice as far as what I've seen from other games.
I literally don't understand what the alternative would be. Do they honestly expect an AAA title for $40 to be supported for several years based on the initial purchase? Like, where the fuck do these people live, dude? Does $40 feed your family for a decade or some shit? Where you come from? What the fuck?
No, it's people it's either children who don't understand business practices and money, or people who are older who just want to complain. I bet, honestly, I bet there's this mob mentality behind it, again, with everything on the internet, where if something catches fire, everyone wants to jump on and be like, yeah, fuck Blizzard, right?
I'm afraid, in the post he said, if everyone's feeling entitled about needing the new Genji skin, we'll have to revisit this process. I'm really worried about what the revisit would be. What is that going to be? And is that going to be something that ruins their revenue stream, so we're not going to get as many characters in the future? Is it going to be something more intrusive than we have now? I mean,
People, if they continue to complain about this shit and they listen to the community and change it, honestly, the community could ruin the game. They could be like,
yes,
oh, well,
yes,
all right, I guess, you know what? We'll give you guys skins. That's fine. You guys can get skins. Well, we're going to start charging for characters now because, that we're going to, reassess what we're doing as a business. Fuck,
it's
man.
it reminds me of the Hanzo nerf, or I should say projectile nerf that came up recently. Everybody was freaking out about the hitboxes and like shrink the projectile hitboxes. Hanzo didn't need a nerf. He wasn't overpowered. He wasn't like extremely relevant in the meta, and yet they'll still shrink it. And his performance is even worse now, and he's not even a closely relevant character anymore. And
Yeah.
that's just community outcry. And
Yeah, you really gotta watch what you complain about because
yeah,
if you complain about something and then they go, oh shit, the whole community doesn't like it, well, we have to change it. They've done that with multiple things. They've done that with the ranked system. They've done that. I mean, they pulled the ranked system before launch. We didn't have ranked after launch for what, like 2 months?
yeah. Well, in some cases it's good. In the
That
cases
I mean,
that
yeah,
it's good,
that
but
obviously that was good. But I'm saying, like, by complaining, you have a lot of power. So
be
pick and
responsible.
choose what you're gonna complain about.
Yeah.
All right. On from that long-winded discussion. I called it, and I would like to say that I called it as long as everything that Yiskis, yeah, it will be. I just saw it again. Okay. I called it. A lot of people, I won't name names, thought that there was nothing going to be at BlizzCon for Overwatch, but as their new baby that they just launched this year, I knew for a fact it was going to be, if it was off in the corner or if it was in the bathrooms and they were having a LAN party in the bathrooms, they were going to have some type of tournament. And they just announced the World Cup. So teams, Overwatch World Cup is an international exhibit pitting teams from multiple nation regions against each other in a battle for global glory. The celebration begins with communities around the world voting for which players they'd like to see represented in their country. Teams will then compete on a series of exhibition matches online and ultimately at the BlizzCon 2016 stage. Now, here's where the part where it kind of goes downhill for me. As far as what I've read, if you guys have read this, correct me if I'm wrong, but the first stage is a popularity contest. So I don't know, if Soda Poppin' or Seagull or I guess you said Surefour is technically Canadian or wait, no, yeah. And it's going to be, everyone votes for who they want in X country to compete. And then I'm guessing they're going to are they making 6-man teams out of that?
Yes. I think that's the idea, yeah.
It's one way to go about it. Instead of inviting pro teams, they're trying to get, I guess it makes sense because it's the same thing they did with the first couple people who got stream or were able to stream it. It wasn't pro players from other games. It was just, I actually forget his name now, but it was the bearded dude and there was the girl. And they got invited to Blizzard's headquarters and they streamed the game on like October 28th last year, the day the beta went, or the day before the beta went live. And everyone was foaming at the mouth. It was at the top of Twitch. And, they're getting people with bigger communities, the 2 million people, and the like Soda Poppin' has a ridiculous amount of viewers, or like Kriparian for Hearthstone, that type of stuff. And they're trying to just get more eyes on the game for people who just play, like say Summit. Summit plays Counter-Strike and now he plays Pokemon Go, and he played a little bit of Overwatch, but after the initial hype goes down, most streamers go back to their main game if they don't, hop on the bandwagon of Overwatch for a while. So it's a little bit of marketing, honestly, but I'm glad that they're doing it.
It'll be interesting to see these matches. I guess it'll kind of be reminiscent of like pickup game matches you get in quick play or whatever.
Yeah.
So that might be kind of interesting to see, like a Bastion strat all of a sudden be strong and see Bastion in a kind of a competitive casted setting. That might be interesting, but I don't know. I
It's
kind
gonna
of
be weird though, because if there's, at least in the early pools, obviously, if there are some games that get cast and it's like, well, it looks like all these people are just running around in circles and dying, and they haven't pushed the payload at all. They are just running around and they're humping each other on the ground. I mean,
I think it's some. I think some countries are auto qualified and some have to fight for qualification. So especially, I think every European country, and it very much depends on the selection process, right? So, I mean, the wording I think is intentionally very open to mean practically everything. So they are inviting pro players. Okay, that's a good thing. Then they're inviting also people that are established within the community and have shown that they're pillars in some way of the community. And the question then is, what guys? Yeah, Siegel is like, okay, that's set in stone. If you put him up for community votes, because that's also a question. Do they put up the programmers up for vote too? Like, do they put everyone in one poll and then it's always going to be the popular people, or what's it going to be, right? Or are they going to, let's say, if a team is 6 people, they're going to pick 4 pro gamers and 2 voting slots or something? We don't know that yet, right? The only thing we know is that it's really not that much of a serious tournament. The people that go there represent their country, yes, but there's no prize money. Everyone's getting paid a little bit and getting their trip sponsored to BlizzCon, and there's no real competition happening, which, if you followed any other Blizzard game or have been a fan of in Blizzard esports, kind of has to sting a little bit as an Overwatch competitive fan, because BlizzCon was the absolute top competition in every other single Blizzard game. That was your World Cup every single year for your game. Right, and now to have it, because the wording makes it sound that this is going to be an ongoing thing. Now there's stuff that you have to consider. Maybe Blizzard knows more. Maybe they know that circuits are starting up that have Overwatch on the roster. For instance, E-League comes to mind. Okay, they already announced that they're going to have a tournament. Maybe it's going to be a bigger thing, maybe a league stuff or something. Then there's obviously ESL investing in it. Maybe they thought, okay, that's all fine and dandy. We don't really need a World Cup type of event, and we don't really want to have these circuit points thing that we give out to all these organizers. Maybe we just do a World Cup kind of thing, where first year, okay, we do it all fun and games, invite some streamers. It's not that that serious. We just promote the game because currently it doesn't have enough interest to, gather enough audience, which I question if that's actually the case, or if it's a good thing. I guess you could talk about that if credible high-level Overwatch would be, the best promotion you could have for the game mode, and not, I don't know, Tim the Tatman screaming whenever he gets pushed off a cliff or something. But that's a difference in approach. I think for the first year, I don't prefer it, but I can see why they argued this way. If that's the case for the next year, dude, that's so sad. Unbelievably sad.
I would say, to calm your worries about next year, is that I would say that yes, right now it probably is eligible to, warner an audience if it's being put together for E-League to be broadcast on TBS and things like that. If a TV company is able to do it, I bet Blizzard would make some money off of streaming it on Twitch. But either way, Hearthstone, when it first came out, when they first did it at BlizzCon, they did invite, Crip, and they invited Wreckful and Total Biscuit, and they invited like a lot of community personnel just to throw together a tournament, just to have a tournament. So, but then afterwards then they're inviting, the actual competitors and the actual people who sit there like in net deck all the time and those people who actually play the game. So I would say this first tournament is for publicity and getting stuff out there, and that next year we would see a actual legit like Road to BlizzCon and a big setup tournament, qualifiers, pools, all that stuff.
It just seems like such an unfortunate moment because this obviously happens after all these other big tournaments.
Mm-hmm.
Like after E-League, after the BlizzCon qualifier, can they accurately say how big the scene is based on that? Like, what if we have huge viewership numbers for E-League or something, right?
Yeah.
Is that then really a good use of a tournament slot, so to speak, right?
It's not going to be, and a lot of people who are serious about competitive and like watching competitive games are probably not going to watch it. And I hope that's not going to be like Blizzard being like, well, a lot of people didn't watch our random people playing Overwatch tournament. I guess that means that not a lot of people watch tournaments.
I think they'd be smarter than that.
Yeah.
And I think whatever they come up with is probably going to get pretty high viewership numbers. Blizzard has a pretty strong PR, army with 3 different branches that can get the word out pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, is it possible that this is just a poorly worded release? Maybe it's the case that they're going to have a invitational for pro teams, and then they're going to have, like the Harlem Globetrotters sort of like exhibition where they
to fill out the pools area.
Well, maybe because I imagine like a big pool of streamers and such getting together and getting eliminated is not going to be good for viewership numbers for those players. I mean, what are they going to do when they're eliminated? I mean, they're going to play half hour, an hour, and then be done. I imagine it's going to be a little bit. Maybe they'll be sequestered off to the side, and they'll have their own maybe 1 or 2 brackets, and it's like just a few teams, and then somewhere they kind of inject them into the pro team to get stomped and have a Harlem Globetrotters type moment or something like that. But I don't know.
Yeah.
That's my hope. My hope is that there's a strong invitational competitive scene going to be happening there, and that this is going to be a sideline type thing.
There's obviously a lot to be discovered about it, but it looks okay. It looks like it'd be something I'll tune in for a little bit. Obviously, just because I'm probably gonna be watching a lot of BlizzCon stuff, but it's not making me excited, I guess I would say.
I mean, the general concept is, I don't know, just for me to look at the teams and just theoretically come up with the best teams I could come up for instance, for Sweden, that would instantly be a super stacked lineup with IDDQD, Civic, Mando, Vonethil, Nevix, Shipsian, Coco. That's all absolute top premier names in Overwatch, and that's all Swedish names. It's super interesting to theory craft what it could potentially be also for other nations. US is almost as hard to determine. And then, some countries are obviously less exciting. For instance, I tried to do it for Germany, and there's four good players. And then you would have to pick 2 that are obviously a little bit less skilled. The same is true for Spain. So I don't know. It could potentially be actually a great tournament. I think if the veterans or the people that used to watch Overwatch esports way back in the day with WCG, that used to be the type of tournament format, right? You would have these countries, especially in CS, it was always highly prestigious, and people actually practice hard for that and boot camp with their nation. So it was quite competitive, and I think that could be the case in Overwatch just the same, even though you can argue that it would be a little bit one-sided with Sweden. And I actually suspect that, because if you think about it, the most well-known people in terms of Overwatch streamers in Sweden are also coincidentally the best players. in Sweden. So IDD Cutie, Tivik, and Mando. I wonder if they are going to invite some random pop culture personality like a PewDiePie or something. Or possibly, like, get ready, guys. What if they invite a console player? What's happening?
I mean, we don't. Honestly, have you been on Twitch and seen like a person streaming on the console and like they have like a face cam and their fame, or like any people, like a team or competitive anything?
Not really, no.
I don't think that anybody would be super high at community.
Maybe there's someone with. Sometimes I get linked a video and I'm like, who's this guy? What? 5 million subscribers on YouTube? What the hell? Yeah. Like, I never heard of him.
I didn't know who KSI was until like a couple months ago. So
yeah, so there could be some console Overwatch player with like, I don't know, 700,000 subs, and he will be invited or something. I don't know.
Yeah. All right. Next up on our docket is just a short little question. Doesn't need to be torn apart too much, but who knows? It was posted on the competitive Overwatch by a bunch of letters and numbers. Sorry, dude. You have a horrible name. That NRG, formerly Luminosity, played on Dorado, on Attack for Dorado and Hollywood, both sides of Hollywood. They played triple support with 2 tanks and 1 damage. They played Reaper Roadhog on a flex, Zarya Reinhardt, Lucio Zenyatta, and Ana. So they basically had no damage except for Reaper when they had him on, and when he wasn't on, they had a triple tank, triple support lineup. In this kind of thing is weird to me. That there's no solid. I mean, there is to an extent, but then there's people like this that, not that they're not like blowing away games, but that this stuff can actually win. And that it was actually mentioned here in the comments that actually Envious brought back Pharah Mercy too, and people think that Pharah's garbage right now because of the changes to McCree.
Yep.
I guess you could say it's just because they're pro players, but it's not like they're playing against shitters. They're also playing against other pro players. So I guess I'm failing to see like a solid meta, I guess, when people can just start blowing shit away like this, or unless it's just pocket strats that nobody expects.
So that's the strangest thing. Sorry, real quick. That's the strangest thing to me, that there's this guy that always has these meta reports, and this time Zenyatta had a very high pick rate. Okay, that's fine. And then the next complaint from the community was that the meta is very stale. Now, I don't know. I watched a game for a $100,000 tournament today where Energy, played the triple support on King's Row against a comp that was running defensive Mei. What is stale about that? And they're not even trolling. That's like for one of the biggest tournaments right now, right?
Yeah.
So I don't even accept the premise that the meta is stale. And then if it was for a week, so what? Like, there's still enough innovation within non-switching comms, how the game is played and everything. The nuance in play is still very exciting to me. Why does everyone get antsy when a character has like a 90% upwards pick rate? Why is that a bad thing?
I think it might be a reflection of what's happening on like ranked. Maybe people are not only seeing this character in competitive cast of matches, but maybe they're like running into it on the ladder too. So it's like pissing them off more, because Zenyatta is pretty much in every match that I play, and Genji honestly too, even though Genji's not played a lot in competitive.
Yeah, that's exactly the thing. The problem is the competitive meta molds itself to the pro player picks, even though it really shouldn't, because it's an entirely different situation where you have perfect communication and actually do communicate, and everyone can play that, and the character shines for completely different reasons, even though I have to concede that Zenyatta is also very good in uncoordinated situations. But other than that, I'm 100% sure that that comps are being picked in the normal competitive rating queue that they take from watching tournaments, even though that's not the optimal case to play solo queue or even like a 4-stack or something.
Yeah.
Was it you, Yiska, saying you were running into Maze on Kings Row?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, or people are still running Junkrats or something, or even Farah. When you see like, okay, nobody's actually picking McCree that much, soldiers nowhere to be seen either. Why not pick a Farah real quick for 1 point or something? Then when they switch, you switch. That's fine.
I have to literally like waiting for the game to load, and have to like go right to McCree or he's picked. I mean, like I don't think I've played a game without McCree.
Yeah, true. Yeah. But still, like even just the McCree is on some map layouts, it's not enough to completely shut down a Farah Mercy. Especially if you're a great Farah, then in solo queue it could still easily work, right? Yep. When nobody's communicating where the Farah is and you're just behind and just picking people off. I don't know.
So I haven't read this post or watched Pro Overwatch since last week. What is the gist of the 3 supports to pretty much just keep boosting the tanks and have the tanks just wreck everything with Ana Boost and Discord and just dump out sick healing? Is that the thing?
Yeah, it's sick healing. It's supposed to be pretty sturdy, even though that they regularly get picked off. It's kind of strange.
Well, it's also just because Zarya and Zenyatta and Ana put out enough damage while also filling their role. So Zenyatta can sit in the back, Discord stuff, and snipe away with his orb, while Zarya's up front, not taking damage with her shield, and she's cutting through people with, a fully charged laser. So it's rather than having, I mean, like the Reinhardt fills his role because he's the tank, but then you have Roadhog and Zarya coming up and actually being able to kill squishy people, or if they're discorded, being able to kill, some lower end tanks.
So is this a counter? Well, not a counter, but is this an adaptation to just the 2-2-2 that's going on now, and is it like doing fairly well against it?
I think that I honestly don't know who they're scrimming that this keeps working for them and they decide to do it. They won 2 maps with it. I think they lost. Okay, they didn't. When they lost with that comp, they usually pick off it. So they lose the team fight and pick off that comp. But all the games I saw today on Kings Row, they immediately had to switch, basically, their team comps because it wasn't working. And I think also something has to be said about the grenade of Ana that you basically out-sustain. Like it doesn't really matter that you don't have high damage when the opponent can't heal against it, right? Mm-hmm. So then if you get the kill, you get the kill. It doesn't matter how quickly you get it most of the time, or matters very little. Still, I think that comp that's a typical former Luminosity, now NRG comp, where they try some weird shit that nobody else does, and I don't know, again, who they're scrimming and who's trolling them epically, that they have confidence in their weird ideas, or also that they don't have confidence in their ability to execute cookie cutter comps better than other teams. It's just, I don't know, the problem is they're also not really capitalizing on the strongest players. Like Seagull's not playing any projectile heroes there. Gods is also not really being able to carry it lately. So it's quite a strange situation. And you also see it. They actually failed to qualify today for Cologne, so they are out of that tournament, which is strange because Shaq told me on Twitter that they are the best team in Overwatch. So I don't know really what that is about. What's reality even? And yeah, I don't know. I think the problem is that the assessment to say we can't outperform people with the same comp is probably not even wrong. I don't think player for player they're more skilled than other top NA lineups. So maybe they feel forced to innovate, but they just do it in the stupidest way, or they're not getting good scrims. That could also be the case, or they don't get enough practice and don't have the facilities that other teams now are slowly getting, and we had for a while. Maybe we will see them actually effectively innovating the meta. I just don't think it's going to be a 3 DPS comp. That's going to be it. Right.
The innovations have typically come from NV. Well, not NV, but like IDDQD in the closed beta. You know, they were the ones that were innovating and capitalizing on it. And I kind of look to them for the meaningful innovations.
Yeah, they had some stupid stuff. For instance, that team or the corner of that team kind of came up with the diva spam. That's kind of their, brainchild. But yeah, other than that, I don't think they have ever innovated the meta in a meaningful way. And even Envious is not really so crass or like outrageous about innovating.
Yeah.
You don't see them picking 4 tanks suddenly or something.
Usually that's not how metas work. Usually, it's interesting and it's fun to watch, but I don't know, even in StarCraft, what was it, StarCraft 1, there was the innovation of using like queens to kill off tanks, and it was really cool, but it's not the best way to go. I don't know. It's interesting that it's this out of the box that they're going, and they're practicing it hard, it sounds like.
Yeah. Yeah, you're spreading your practice thin if you constantly try to keep innovating, and everyone has to play 5 characters on your team. Then you're not really getting the mastery. Look at the top teams. What are they, like? Okay, let's look at a player like Temu. Last patch, he just spammed Widow and sometimes McCree. Then this was nerfed. Then he only spammed Roadhog and stuff, like shotgun heroes, like a Reaper 2. Now that is also not meta anymore, and now he's only playing McCree, right? Now the question is, does he just believe he has more FPS talent and then therefore can always, even if the picks are the same, they can always outperform? Why do they, like, the way NRG is currently approaching this is they have to wait for an off meta where everyone has to practice, and then in the first couple of weeks they kind of have an advantage, and then they can shine. But that's not really, that's not how you breed constant success, right? Unless you get like the smartest people in the game on one team or in the supporting staff that can constantly keep innovating these comps that always have an edge, and you bring them out in the best situations in a quarterfinal, you beat them, and then next you have something else up your sleeve for the semifinals. It's quite unlikely that this will work though, right? It's like Envious is like miles away from anyone else. It's almost like if they were to pick a Mei on every single map, they could still beat you in a best of 5 simply because of execution. And I wonder if the practice of execution and just general strategy, like using the map layout, is not suffering from constantly trying to use some fringe picks. But yeah, I don't know. That's just the character of that team, and it has always been this way. And sometimes they come back. You also see it if you look at the tournament graph, also from the old Not Enigma squad. It's always like they become the second best team in NA, and then they drop, and then they come the third best, but then they drop again, third best, drop again. It's always been this way, kind of. So.
Okay. The last and final thing on the docket is just a post that I've been kind of thinking about, but I haven't really thought about it too much. But now, to be honest, now that I'm seeing what people are pointing out, it makes a lot of sense. Is that the skill gap in ranked is currently, if I am level 70, I could technically queue up with level 20s or skill rank 20s. How often that happens is pretty much, I don't see people that low, but I've definitely seen people 30 ranks below me. You know, something, it's kind of iffy, obviously, because people are smurfing and there's actually a couple people who keep driving their accounts down and down and down in rank to be the number one, skill. I'm skill rank 1, so I'm the best, but it's a troll, really. I don't know why you would do that with a $40 game, but to each his your own. I guess the only real question is, if let's say a skill rank 60 player, so top 13% of the players, queues up with even a rank 40 player, so 20 skill gap, that goes from top 13% of the players to the top 91% of the players. So there is a huge, I mean, you're on the opposite side of the bell from the person that you're grouping with. So the real question is how small do you think that window should be?
That's a hard one to answer, because it's kind of like a math formula, and it's based on time in queue, the potential pool of players, and you don't want people in a 15-minute queue. I've played games with 15-minute queues, and it's not fun. It's not fun. You're cold by the time you queue up, and I don't know, queue times now, I don't know, I'm mid-60s, and queue time can range from 30 seconds to about 5 minutes sometimes, and 5 minutes is a bit rough. I'd say the answer would be get more people interested in competitive. Get that audience larger is the answer, instead of making, I don't know, adjustments about what the cutoff is for ranks to play against each other.
Yeah.
It might be as far as like teams, I've done solo queue and I've done team queue. Team queue seems pretty consistent. I mean, it's almost always going to be someone within 7 levels of you. Maybe one person, a friend or whatever, is way up or way low, but that's not too bad. Solo queue seems to be where like inconsistencies come popping out, and I don't know why that is. It might be because they want to keep that time low, because solo queuers are typically not going to be as invested as a team of 6 in queuing up and trying to kick ass.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That's my impression so far.
Yeah, I agree that you don't want to say, oh, they have to be within like 3 skill rank or something, because it would you'd sit there and you'd be looking for games forever. It would be like being DPS in a WoW queue. I think that something around 20 would give you that that would give you that area to search for. But even still, you're not, I mean, like I said, you're not going to get, if your skill rating 70, you're not getting level 20s unless it's extremely anecdotal. It happened one time because there was just nobody on and you were at like 4:00 in the morning or something looking for a game. If you lower that skill rating, though, you're going to lessen the chance that you get somebody, 25 skill ranks lower than you. But then it brings up the question of, if you are let's say you're rank 70 and you get somebody in your game that's rank 60, is that also blocking them out if they brought in one of their rank 30 friends? Do you know what I mean? Is it checking both of those people for skill ranking?
I'm sure it is checking, but it shouldn't. The problem is more in the perception than it is in the actuality there. I mean, the person who's like, the girl gamer or whatever, on their team or your team is probably not going to be playing the DPS role. I mean, maybe they are, but if they're level 30 and you're level 70, you're serious. You're going to be like, I think you're best as healer, support, something like that. And as far as that goes, I mean, I don't know. It's down to the team at that point instead of down to the skill, my opinion. At least for one player, I would say. Although they could, be blowing bad sound bursts, sound barriers, and stuff like that, which hurt.
Yeah, I think in general again why we can't have nice things is because people actually exploit it a lot. Because there's something with the formula that lets you gain much more rating even as the higher guy when you have such a low skilled guy in your team, also because you're often underdog and then you're getting more rating and it's not necessarily that much harder to win then. But also because you're actually not, you're 70, you're in a queue with a 45 or something, but he's actually a real 72, right? He just took his little brother's account and is just leveling it or something. And that's the kind of exploit that gets annoying, right? And we've encountered that a little bit already in the 70s, and that's the bad thing. But also something.
Oh no!
Losing Yiska.
Yep, Yiska's lagging out.
I guess to his point, that's something you're going to probably find a lot in a ladder. Any games ladder is people, smurfing or pulling off bullshit like that.
Yeah, it doesn't affect it too much. If you're seeing it all the time, like 1 in 4 games or something, then that can get annoying. But if it's 1 in 20, 1 in 15, something like that, it's kind of that. If you're good enough, you're going to consistently slowly move up and up. If you are, above 50 to 53% win rate or something like that, or if you go on a nice streak for a while.
Oh, thanks, Skype.
Yeah, I will say thank you, Skype, for all your services, but also his internet could just be going out. The only thing that worries me is on Master Overwatch, the actual bell curve of skill ranking. It actually, even if it's not working out that way. From like a skill ranking 60 at 13% of the players to skill ranking 50 at 52% of the players, you still have a pretty big gap there. I don't know how much it actually is, if that player's not actually a rank 50, if he just got shit on in his placements or something like that. I guess it could change, but
I think, again, these sort of problems are more pronounced in solo queue. In my experience, solo queue, it's easier to win in solo queue because individual skill matters more and just general synergy can be built, and that's a skill. Team versus team 6v6, it's all about the team. You can't really, you could carry, but you're playing your role. If you're DPS, you're supposed to carry. If you're support, you're supposed to be doing what you're doing. And as far as that goes, it's down to how the team works. Even when, we play with a guy that has a very new account. We just started playing with him. He plays Soldier right now, and he's DPS, and he's fairly solid. I think he's level 45 now, and he performs good for the team. The team plays to a point where we're getting wins. So, I don't know. Rank doesn't really matter in a 6v6 as much as solo queue. So I wonder if a lot of these complaints are from solo queue point of view, and in that case it's pretty valid.
Yeah, it makes sense. A lot of people want to find reasons as to why they're at different skill rankings, or fighting through elo hell and that type of stuff. While they could offer some insight into something that could be constructive, to help benefit the game, it also might just be a lot of just kind of empty complaints just for people finding excuses about things. And I really don't want to close out the show without Yiska here, but if I have to, we will, obviously. Is there anything as far as on the subreddits or anything that you saw that you thought is worth mentioning? Or anything as far as while you're playing that you've noticed that you thought was worth mentioning?
Let me think here. There was something on my mind, but I sort of forgot it. I guess Anna's fallen off in use, I've noticed. She was in like every single competitive game I could see, and she was always... Oh, there we go. There's Yiska.
Oh, sorry. I don't know. Ripping the street open or something.
And that was that our first cast that I kept dying in Skype?
Yeah, you kept freezing like this, like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
So we've been there. Did you have a point that you still wanted to make before we
Yeah, I was sort of wasting time how I was saying that there's not much Anna on the ranked queue I'm seeing, at least in 65 area in US. It's if they're gonna run support, it's Zenyatta, and not much Anna. I think like maybe people have figured it out, kind of like the Bastion situation before.
Well, she was also just really hype and new, so
Yeah.
But I've seen a lot more. Like whenever I'm forced to play support and I play Zenyatta or Lucio, they're just a lot more solid and actually able to heal. It feels like.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty. Before we catch too much dead air and hopefully don't lose Yiska again, I think we are going to close out the show. A nice, meaty show this week. Hopefully we get some more stuff to talk about next week. Hopefully we get some 6 skins we can boast about next week. I want to make sure you guys notice that we are on Twitch. We do stream every time that we record on Thursdays, or even if we record on an off day because something does come up, we do post it on Twitch and we are live. So make sure you guys check us out. It is just WatchPointtv on Twitch. It is the same thing on Twitter, and soon to be the same thing on YouTube if we can get a handful of more subs. Everything that you guys do, following, subscribing, liking on all of our social medias, helps us out in every way and tells us that we're doing a good job. So if you do like our content, make sure you show us somewhere on the internet. And thank you guys so much for watching. We will see you guys again next week. Goodbye.